Okay, welcome everybody. This is kind of a test stream, but hopefully it will be interesting as well. It's going to be a VR VR flight using the JP Evolution C90 King Air mod. I put a link to it in the description there, so go ahead and check it out. It's really great. I'm not going to go into any of the features of this, honestly. This really is just a test stream just to kind of show off this thing in VR. So we're not going to follow any of the normal procedures, really. Excuse me, jeez. Yeah, we'll just pretty much start it up. Maybe use the checklist a little bit. Maybe not. Basically taxi, takeoff. We're going from Pompano Beach, Florida to Key West. It's about an hour. And just check it out in VR. So yeah, without further ado, let me pop over into VR and we'll get this started, talk about it a little bit, and just kind of enjoy the flight. So give me a few minutes. Actually, give me not a few minutes. Give me about a minute here, and see you over in VR. Okay, well, here we are in the cockpit in the King Air, and yeah, I just got to take care of a few housekeeping items first. Need to get a few windows here into VR. I'm going to use Move VR for that. First of all, our audio panel, we'll need that. Not that I expect anybody at all to be in this chat because this wasn't advertised to anyone, but just to show you that we can, we'll pop out that chat window. All right, and let's get rid of this thing. Put that back there. And we don't need XPilot because we don't have ATC. So just leave it at that. And let's adjust our view a little bit. This is it. This is the King Air. Again, I'm not going into any detail into this. It's a great airplane at all. Get the volume down a little bit. What we're going to do is just sort of start it up. I'm not even going to describe what I'm doing. In fact, I'm not going to talk a whole lot during this stream because, like I said, there's not going to be anybody in chat. And it's kind of like I'm talking to myself at that point. So I'm just going to get right into it. We'll put the battery on. Let's put the external power on too. Pretend that we had a GPU out there somewhere. We don't. I just kind of do a flow here across, and I'll refer back to this. This is just X checklist every once in a while to make sure that I've got it covered. All right, so condition levers back to idle. First of all, make sure bleed air is on. Actually, flip all the lights off of my panel here. I have a honeycomb yoke. Beacon light on for now. Give me 1 second. a sip of water. All right. Moving across, it's important. The engine anti-ice on. Make sure boost pumps are on. Crossfeed to auto. Transfer pumps to auto. Again, this is not the checklist startup procedure, so please don't follow this to start it up. Although this will start up, but you're not going through any of the fuel checks or electrical panel checks or anything. I'm just really trying to get it started as quickly as possible, cold and dark, to getting us rolling here for this test stream. So don't do as I do. We'll do some streams, going forward to really get into maybe the proper startup procedure. So go ahead and start one. Oh, you know what? One thing I already forgot to do is shut the cabin door, but we'll do that after we start the engine. Oh, goodness. All right. So N1 over about 15. We can go to low idle. Watching ITT to make sure it doesn't go over that top red line, and then it's going to come back down and stabilize. All right. Looks like that's a good start there. Now what we can do, turn off the engine start. Goes to high idle. We can put on Gen 2, and right DC generator is now extinguished. Kill the external power. One thing we need to do is close the door. Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. Ah, much better. Here's the interior, by the way. We should do a cabin tour while we're at it. Pretty nice, basic interior. Not that big. I mean, this is pretty much what a C90 King Air looks like inside. I think the biggest. All right, let's reset our view. All right, let's start 2. I'd rather start 1, the left engine. Okay, for 12% there, we've already got it. Low idle, the condition lever on the left. Let me turn this music down a little bit more. I think that might still be too loud. Go. All right. ITT coming back down. And that's good. We'll go ahead and turn the left ignition off. Reset and on for Gen 1. Both generators are on. That's good. Go ahead and, let's see, turn the inverter on. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Wow. See? Checklists. Prop should be full forward. Oh. And we can bring this back to low idle as well. We didn't burn up the engines at least, so that's kind of a good thing. Oh, alright. We can go avionics master on, EVO auxiliary power on, EVO power on. That'll bring up our EVO here. Again, this is not the standard startup procedure. This is just me getting the airplane kind of ready to go. Alright, now we can turn the radios on. These radios are incredibly detailed in their modeling and their functionality, including the memory function, which is totally operational. I'm not going to get into it, but that's for another day. It's really cool the way it works. GPS on as well. COM 1. Headset on. We're only going to flight level 180. So I actually did a sim brief flight plan here. I'm not going to get into it, but we're going at flight level 180, and we're going to
pretty much go from Pompano to Key West. PMP. Papa Mike. Papa. Papa, as some of you pilots say out there. I'm not going to say which kind of airplane pilots say Papa a lot, but there's one in particular. Okay. And then we're going to go via Manatee. That's Mike. November. The clever waypoint name, I think. Alpha Tango. Manatee. When I first saw this waypoint, I called it M-Nate. The controller corrected me immediately. Said, oh, you mean Manatee? I said, oh, that makes a lot of sense. A lot more than M-Nate. And then Marathon. It's Mike. Oops. Mike. Tango. Hotel. The pretty common routing here. The most cleared ATC routing. All right, Pompano, Manatee, Marathon, Key West. Pretty easy there. And that's it. That's our route. I'm going to just go ahead and load this up now. Whoops. Yeah, we're going to take 2.7. I will just load it for now, so it's there. Oh. Good deal. All right, yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just take off in kind of heading mode, kind of do a 180, and then go direct Manatee. Again, there's no ATC today, it's just us. Let's get some cabin lighting. Yeah, we didn't do any of the checks here. Make sure that we've got good volts, good DC load. This is all modeled. It's really cool. We'll get into that in a later stream. Again, this is just to test this out. So, obviously we're going to go heading. We'll go out, select vertical speed mode initially when we turn the autopilot on. Make sure we're in GPS mode. Set our heading to 060 since we're going to depart runway 6. This is our performance charts. I actually got this from another airplane that I own from another simulator. Pretty accurate, and I'm going to use this. So our temperature here is like, I think it's 27 degrees, so we'll use ISA plus 10, and we're going to 18,000, flight level 180, so torque setting's going to be about 1100, which will result in about 535 gallons per hour total fuel flow. So we'll use that later, but for now, let's go here. Like I said, we're going to depart runway 6, and I've strategically positioned us close to the departure end there. Yeah, like I said, we don't have any no VATSIM, no ATC, so we should be good there. Strobes on, taxi lights can come on, nav lights can come on, our anti-ice can come on, windshield, everything except the prop basically can come on. Go ahead and get some air into the cabin, and everybody can go sit down. Seatbelt signs on. Yeah, seatbelt sign is on. All right. Oh, pressurization. Do one more flow here. Okay, auto ignition's going to come on before we take off. Anti-ice is already on. Auto feather's going to be on. And the pressurization, we're going to set this to 1.8. Whoops, sorry about the bumpiness there. flight level 180. Yaw damper comes on with the autopilot. Everything else is set. One thing I do like here is ground speed. Not on ground speed, but what the wind is. Alright. So at this point, we can go ahead and taxi out. I'm going to do one thing here. I'm just going to check to make sure that we are actually... Yeah, we're in a good spot here in terms of the stream. Sorry about that immersion breaking, I know, but yeah, needed to check that. It's a test stream above all else. All right. So instead of using a lot of brakes, what we do is use beta mode for the props, which is this region back here. Oops, that's a little too much. It's like reversed thrust, varies the angle, the pitch of the propellers produced. It almost flattens them and then puts them even negative from flat. Technically speaking, again, I don't know. I'm not a air pilot. I don't fly turboprops either, to be honest. I fly a single engine piston plane. That's my background. That's why we're not going to get into a lot of systems. This really is just to see this thing in action in VR. Like this. This is part of the mod. This is pretty cool. We can flip these up. Alright, we're going to go ahead and clear ourselves for takeoff too, I think, at this point. Any lights on? Oops. Taxi lights can come off. One thing to note though, when we do take off at any time, we're adjusting power, is to watch the red lines, because these engines will melt if you disrespect those red lines. When we take off, we'll watch the torque and not push the torque past that red line right there. So let's go condition levers full forward, and actually we didn't do this, set this altimeter. 2005. Alright, so we'll go about 1300 on the torque, and we'll rotate at about 97. Here we go. So you got to be careful pushing the thrust levers forward. That's good, right about there. Further. Oh, we didn't adjust the pitch either. We want to be about 3 degrees pitch up. And rotate. Final back pressure, and there we go. Positive rate. Gears coming up. Lining up nicely. At 120 knots, we're going to pull the prop back a little bit here to 21. Start to turn out to the left. Guess we could have gone, go to the right. Let's maybe turn to the right out over the beach here. We'll go heading mode, go ahead and engage the autopilot at this point. This should be in vertical speed, heading, out select, heading, vertical speed. Whoops, why aren't we in? Oh. Go ahead and get vertical speed up in your climb. Aggressive one. There we go. Keep that turn coming around. There's the coast. Actually, we can go nav mode at this point. So, GPS, vertical speed, alt arm. Alright, that looks good. Bring the prop back a little bit more, maybe. Actually, I think we're... Let's see what the checklist says.
Good day, Captain.
X checklist here.
Before engine start. Fuel checks.
Okay.
Right engine start.
We've done all of this
Before
earlier.
taxi.
Again, really just wanted to get up.
Rudder boost.
Okay.
L&R engine anti-ice
Okay, and
actuators.
the climb,
Before takeoff.
propeller to
Takeoff.
2000.
Climb. Gear.
There we go.
Up.
We can put the prop sync
Flaps.
on.
Check retracted. Climb power.
And auto ignition off. Anti-ice can come off at this point. We're not going to get any ice here in Florida. Okay, be good. Very nice. Very nice. Climb going here. Increase the torque a little
Set.
bit.
Propeller RPM to 2000.
Okay.
Check. Cruise. Cruise power.
Alright. So we're doing pretty good here. Some IMC. Yeah, it's 15 degrees outside. We don't need any engine anti-ice on. It's a pretty cool view right there. I mean, that doesn't look like what it looks like parting through a layer in Florida this time of year. Alright, nav's looking good. Pushing that torque up a little bit to make sure that we're doing good in the climb here. I don't think we'll be able to maintain this climb rate the whole way up. We can also sink the heading bud. I think this is easier to fly in VR because not in VR, this panel right here is pretty hard to reach. There we go. Breaking out on top here. Nice. So yeah, I didn't follow a lot of that checklist. Again, this is really pretty much a test stream with this plane. Don't use this for God forbid real world training. Not even for real world, not even for sim training, or just for figuring out this airplane in the sim. This is not a tutorial video, not even close. I'll turn the music up a little bit. Cool. Cloud surfing music. Like this. All right. Landing lights can come off, 10,000 feet. Again, we're watching these red lines here, the torque, the ITT. We don't need to worry about the prop or the turbine right now, but these two right here, we're going to need to watch those. Let's go ahead and reduce the climb rate a little bit, pick up some airspeed. This is pretty comfortable here, I think. Of course, it's got a nice layer here. We can't see the scenery. Difficult. That's alright. Like I said, this is a test. 1 second. I'm gonna put my head outside of the cabin. Trying to grab my water here. There we go. Now we just sort of enjoy the ride on the way up. We talk about cruise power settings a little bit once we get up to our cruise altitude. Time's pretty good. Looking good. Check one more thing here. Again, it's going to break the immersion, but test. Yeah, looks like we're still. Yep. Looking good. Clouds look pretty good. Frame rate's really good too with this mod. There's really no frame rate hit at all from the stock C90. I'm not doing this mod justice either. There's a come on, this is the touchscreen Garmin plug into the DNS. Enabled as well. No, I'm sorry, for the 750, it's the GNS 530. Oh man, GTN. This is the GTN 750 version. I think that's coming out soon. This is version 1.3, and 1.3 didn't have that quite ready, but I know they're working on it. And we could talk about that in a future stream where I actually get into the details. I kind of threw this one together last minute just to test it out. That's that. Oh, see, we got to watch that ITT. So I almost pushed the power levers up to increase torque, and I almost blew through this red line right here. You don't want to do that because you're not going to be able to get max torque or even up to red line torque without blowing through the turbine temps at this altitude. So don't do that. So now at this point we got to keep an eye on that red line. That's going to be our limiter, and we're almost to cruise here. 1,000 to go. Next check. Actually, let's reduce here a little bit the climb rate. We don't need to climb that much. We'll help it level off a little bit. We're in out select. See, this out arm is here as enunciated in white. White means that's the mode that the standby mode, the mode that it will go into, and then that'll turn green in about 300 feet here. We'll make sure that it does. And now we can go ahead and look at our cruise power settings. Look at this. I mean, the detail is awesome in this thing. 100 to go. And starting to level off now. Now we can pull the prop back to cruise, which is cruise RPM is 1900. Let's do that. The torque's going to go up as we pull this back. That should be fine. So there's 1900 RPM. Now we can check here on our power settings table. 1800. So this is telling us it's 1100. We're at 12. That's actually pretty good. I'm going to leave it right there. We're burning about 300 per side, 600 gallons an hour. 600 pounds an hour, sorry. That's a little more than this 530, but we're running a little bit higher than this wants us to. I mean, if we pull the torque and pull the power levers back a little bit, it might get us right exactly on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. The fuel flow there is at about 275 a side. 267, that's pretty darn close. And we're over what this is asking for. That's really good. The flight model and the systems modeling in this mod are really good. That's all from the mod. That's not the default D90. Doing that. That's the JP Evolution mod doing that. Wow, we're getting a great view of South Florida here, aren't we? Sorry about that. And these aren't even good clouds. This isn't enhanced skyscapes or anything. This is just active sky, low performance clouds. Check out those winglets though, huh? Pretty nice. Alright, so we should probably look at... this isn't a very long flight, so let's do this. We got 47 to go to Manatee. I don't have the en route chart open either. Wait, let's see. I almost forget how to use this thing too. Alright, so we want to be at for the RNAV at Burpee. Burpee. 1500, so I'm just going to round that up to 2000. I'll just use the rule of 3 here. Flight level 180, it's 18,000 minus 2, that's 16. 16 times 3 is 54 miles. 54 miles from our, from pretty much Burpee, which is from the airport. That is 11 miles. So let's call it 54 plus 11, 65. Let's just say it 70 miles out. We're going to want to start our descent. I immediately forgot those numbers. So 54 plus 11. 65. I'm going to add 5 as a buffer. 70 miles. So let's just start our, so 37 Key West and 35, that's 72. Let's just start our descent at Marathon. This is just poor man's VNav. Start our descent at right when we hit Marathon. What are we doing here? Speed over the ground, 238 knots, indicated 190. Pretty good. Got lots of gas. 600 pounds per side. And I forget, so the nacelle tanks, you can put this down and I'll show you how much is left in the nacelle tanks. We'll get into that in a later stream. I haven't flown this aircraft in a while. And the nacelle, it basically, engines feed off the nacelle tanks. So this isn't like you have 400 in the nacelle and then 600 in the outboard tanks. It's, you have 200 in the outboard tanks and 400 in the nacelle, something like that. Again, test stream, not a real pilot. We'll get into that later. Maybe we'll get into some more systems later. Maybe we'll get a real pilot to give me a script to follow or something. Pop in the chat or something like that for a later stream. Again, this wasn't advertised. That's why this is blank. This is just testing the fact that to actually get the chat in the VR experience here, and I can actually, I can type it here too. No, it doesn't have the focus. That's fine. Hope that audio or the music volume isn't too loud. We'll adjust that later. Now we're starting to get some better visuals here. Pop open a map here. Avitab. This is nice too, having the yoke mounted Avitab. This is right where I have it mounted in the Arrow. I'll fly up just the Piper Arrow. This is exactly how I have mine mounted. Apps. Okay, yeah, we're not even. not even over the Keys yet. We're still over just past Homestead. Homestead Air Force Base will be off to the right there somewhere. This is just the 4-ploy orthos, and then I think I had to create my own orthos, maybe using Ortho for XP for the Keys. The actual, orthos out over the Keys. One thing we can do too, so yeah, checklists. We can turn auto feather off, I believe. Where is it? It's there. There it is. You have to move the view up and down a little bit to reach these switches over here, because my physical yoke is like right here, and I only use one manipulator, so I can't get to it with my right hand easily. So that's why I have to move things around to get to the the lower left panel here. Reach these pretty nicely. 23 to go to Manatee. Just a nice view. We just enjoy that view for a minute. Enjoy this lo-fi music. It's like a little South Florida Keys cruising music. Sip of water here. Sorry, folks. My volume is a little bit low. My voice volume is a little low too. I can't talk too loud. My daughter is sleeping in the next room here, so hopefully the volume is okay for this test stream. Very nice. We can do a quick cabin tour while we're at it. Walk right back here, maybe. In the aft passenger seat. Not sure if the EVO mod, Evolution mod, did anything with this cabin, or if this is just the default, laminar, modeling, but it's pretty good, pretty relaxing. Just a nice flight out over the Keys, Key West, and this routing takes us right along the whole string of islands too. This is a fun one to do in a. Let's go back into the. Let's see if I can get us there. Oh, nothing to see there. This is a fun one to do, a little bit lower and slower in the Aero, maybe the V-Flight Air Aero, or even the 172. Just fun to kind of fly low and slow over the Keys. The Key Largo, I guess, off to the east. A little bit of cloud flickering. Again, these aren't enhanced skyscapes or anything, or enhanced cloudscapes. That is not quite ready for VR yet. I don't know if they've got plans to make that VR enabled or not. I hope so. I'd love to get it, and just right now it doesn't work in VR. The issue with some stereoscopic issues that I think they're going to work out. I hope they do. I'll get it in a second if they do. That thing looks awesome. Nine miles to Manatee, and then another, after that, 30 35 to marathon. Actually, I think I may have screwed up that calculation. I think we want to start our descent closer to when we get to marathon, right? Because we want to, about 70 miles out, start our descent. Yeah, so we need to start our descent. Real pilot here. We want to start our descent at pretty much when we cross over Manatee. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this down. We're going to clear ourselves descending 2,000. We've got the approach. It's loaded, but not activated. We'll just clear ourselves direct to after marathon. We'll clear ourselves direct to burpee here. So after marathon, when we got about 30. We have about 33 to go to marathon. We'll start down. And we'll use vertical speed mode. There's the turn. A little bit of a choppy disconnect with the ortho there. That's probably where my ortho start and 4-point ends. That's pretty cool, huh? Pull more view from back here, maybe. That's nice. Who needs MSFS? Come on. Alright, let's get back in the cockpit here. Alright, let's go ahead and start down. Go vertical speed, out select. Down about 1,000 feet per minute. I'm going to bring the power level covers back a little bit. Whoops, not that much. There we go. Make sure our seatbelts are on, ready to go. Go sit down. These are one for descent.
Descent. Pressurization.
I'm going to go ahead and put engine anti-ice back on just because pretty sure that needs to happen, and I'm going to put the hollow feather on arm. I checked ahead of time. The METAR was, I think, 3004 at Key West. There's no ATC. I can check real quick, but we're good. Yeah, not a real pilot. Normally we do the 5A's, altimeter, ATIS, altimeter, avionics are already set. Brief the approach. It's just the RNAV 27 Key West, Florida. Decision height is 250. We can set that here. Go. pH set 250. Oops. Structure right there. So it's burpee at 1500, and then the FAF is KC at also 1500, and then just down to the runway. Just approach procedure. climb to 2,400, then direct at Nom via 003, and then track to Chets and hold. Alright. Approach briefed. No questions? No questions? Alright. Lead down a little bit. Increase our descent rate a little bit. Turn the volume down too, it might be too loud. There we go. The ice too, we're descending, we're at minus 11. Doing okay here. Bring the power back a little bit more. We need to go blazing in there. Leisurely cruising. We want to slow to maybe 180 knots indicated as we get closer, and then approach speeds 120 over the fence at about 100. And then I'm going to continuously kind of reduce power. Torque should be around 500 foot-pounds. On approach. Again, I got to read my notes again in terms of what the book numbers are, and apparently that's the thing to do with this, is to fly it by the numbers. Got lots of gas. Looking good here. Looking real good. At 1,100 feet per minute. So ground speed divided by 2 is what I like to fly it at. We're doing the four-man's VNAV. Once we get to marathon, we'll just go ahead and activate the leg to burpee. Cell is out here, and we'll just go right to burpee. Although no, and we'll go to goose cell. I don't know. Again, we don't have ATC, so we're kind of making this up as we go. To reduce the power. As we get closer, we're going to need to increase the RPM on the prop, or else we'll get a RVS, not available enunciation up here. It's about 50 miles. Yeah, I think we're going to end up being kind of low here. We can probably descend at that rate here. We'll shallow out our descent just a little bit. As soon as we turn from Marathon toward Key West, we'll, like I said, activate the approach. We'll activate the leg to, we'll just go direct due cell. Once it's there, so. select 1,500. This is looking pretty good. A lovely day in Key West. About 1,000. Landing lights on.
Landing. Propeller sync.
Yeah, we did a lot of no. Did a little bit of this early, I guess. Auto feathers already armed. Alright. Here's the turn. Let's go ahead and go direct. Turn on the approach, direct to cell. Well, that's going to take us. Alright. Here we go. Down a little bit more here. Very good. This one, Cuba is over there somewhere. Probably too far away to see yet. I wish the clouds wouldn't flicker like that, but oh well. A little bit more. Everything over here looks good. Fuel's good. See our little, there we go. Should be a pretty easy approach. Love the winglets. Definitely is part of the mod. This is just a fun plane to fly. Oh, I feel like we're high. Let's see. Not a professional pilot for sure. I'm going to go ahead and pull the power back even more. Super fast. Let's just go here. Yeah, we want to be at 1,500 at Burpee, and that's coming up in 15 miles. Well, I think we'll be all right. Easy to fly. VNav with like the Zevo or the Airbus just does everything for you. Not so much here. You gotta kind of do some math. Some of you may watch this who saw my other VR streams trying to land the 737, and I completely botched the approaches and landings, even with those. But I had a lot of fun. I had maybe 2 people in chat, but I was paying more attention to the chat than I was to what I was doing. So maybe this one will do better. Right, this is looking okay. Back a little bit more here. I think we're going to be alright. Yeah, I like that about 180, a little bit closer here. Fine. It's going to be at 1500 easily by burpee at this point. Speed looks good to me. Still navin, vertical speed, out arm. So we can go ahead and arm the approach at this point too. I'm not sure if we have to arm the approach for an arm nav, but we'll see. Through the layer here in IMC. Good. 1,000 to go. Okay. Alright. Sink the heading boat. I love the water in X-Plane 12 and the previews. That just looks so cool. And this doesn't look bad, but man, X-Plane 12 just looks so cool. 500 to go. Look at that view right here. Okay, that's pretty good. That was pretty good manual VNav right there. We're going to want to catch the power here so we don't too slow. We can increase the prop at this point. 2,000. Alright. Where's it taking us? Or should be going right? There we go. Alright. Glide slope captured. That's cool. Okay. Really shouldn't be descending too much past 1,500 here. Approach, glide slope GPS. I think we're pretty good right here. Slow down a little bit more though. We are 4.4 from KC, that's our final approach fix. So let's go ahead and go approach flaps. I see the airport, I see the runway. This will go slowed down. Oh, we're ballooning. Flaps, it's fine. Forward fast, I'm good with that. slow down a little bit more here. But that looks pretty good. For orthos, like I said, MSFS, got nothing on this. That's an Air Force base right there, not the airport that we're landing. I'll adjust my view real quick just to make sure I'm looking over the nose. I guess we get a little bit of a crosswind maybe. Alright, we need to slow down a little more here. Approach speed. Toss the gear out. I don't need to slow down. Sink the head and go. 120 knots on approach. Launching RBS not ready. That means we need to increase the props. Increase the PM to 2100. There we go. That's 120 knots. That's our approach speed. We should start down pretty soon here. If we don't, we'll just cancel the automation and land it by hand. We're looking real good. Yeah, glide path is alive. Looks like we were a little bit low. We descended a little early, I guess, but no worries. Visual at this point. Alright, gear down, 3 green. And then we have landing clearance. I'm going to set missed approach altitude there. We're right on it. Good. Get flight at this point. Pilot off. Set our missed approach altitude there. It's fine. A little high, not too high. Coming down, trim's good. Redeem myself for those 2 landings at Jacksonville that some people saw me do in the Ziba. They were messy. We're dragging it in here. We're low. A little bit low. It's alright. Breaking up. There we go. Looking good. 500. Back. Oops. I think we're a little bit slow for a real King Air, but alright. 300. Back. Minimums. Continue. I think we're a little slow, but that was 100 knots over the fence, and we're at 100 now. It's fine. Okay, keep coming. I think those trees are a little close, but alright. And we're dragging it in a little bit. Keep it coming down. 50, 40, oh. 30, oh. 20, 10. Oh. Alright, we're down. Pretty good. Welcome to Key West. Who put that taxi light there? Come on. Go ahead and vacate here. And taxi over to the GA terminal. Absolutely. I think we can let's leave everything alone here for now. Not bad. Ooh, it's our limo coming out to meet us. Very nice. I could see I called ahead, but we do things with class here. Except for this wall of baggage carts. Maybe they're trying to tell us something, huh? Alright, well, maybe we'll lose a fence too. Alright. Maybe we'll just go ahead and put it right here in front of this hangar. The limo will come back to meet us. Let's just call it quits here. Alright. Well, again, I'm not going to do a proper shutdown procedure because honestly, I'm not sure I'd use the checklist. And again, just a test stream. I hope anybody who watched this enjoyed it and maybe wants to get the JP Evolution mod. Check the link in the description and check it out in VR. And we'll definitely do another one of these, more comprehensive, almost, well, maybe not tutorial style, but at least going a little bit more by the book. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set the parking brake here. And my right touch battery is low. Perfect timing. All right, let's pop back over into the desktop and see you over there. Bring these back to low idle at least. Noisy.
Okay, well, we're back. We're in the desktop view. And again, thanks for joining. And again, we'll do more of these, different airplanes, different aircraft, and maybe more in depth